So before we jump into actually reading the poem, does anyone know anything about Dr. Maya Angelou? What do you know about her? Yeah, so she passed away in 2014. What else do we know about her? Do we know anything that maybe she has written before? Have you read any of her books, any of her poems? What was that? Yeah? What else? That's a good one. And that's okay. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Maya Angelou from reading her work today. So Dr. Maya Angelou was an African-American poet and a civil rights activist. She did a lot of her civil rights activism work through writing. So more specifically, she wrote 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and some things that people do not know about Maya Angelou is that she also wrote plays and movies and television shows. And like one of our classmates told us she passed away in 2014 at the age of 86. So what I want you to do is I want us to take the next 3 minutes to silently and independently read the poem Life Does Not Frighten Me at All. And Ms. Cruiser told me before coming in today that she's already taught you some things about figurative language. So for the next 3 minutes, you're going to read the poem, and I want you to annotate all of the figurative language you already know before we come back together as a group. Your time has started now. Roxanne and Jonathan are already reading their text. See Oscar annotating on his text. Remember, you can annotate anything you already know or notice. You are ready, you can just like your beautiful eyes to the front of the room, and then I know we are ready to move on. Great. So most poems have their own beat, their own sound, their own rhythm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this poem out loud for you, since you already had a chance to read it yourself. And I want you to listen to me read and see if you notice any unique beat sounds or rhythms from this poem, okay? So what I want you to do is have your pens out. I want you to read along with me. If you notice anything unique as I'm reading, go ahead and mark it down on your paper. Life Doesn't Frighten Me by Maya Angelou. Shadows on the wall, noises down the hall, life doesn't frighten me at all. Bad dogs barking loud, big ghosts in a cloud, life doesn't frighten me at all. Mean old Mother Goose, lions on the loose, they don't frighten me at all. Dragons breathing flame on my counterpane, that doesn't frighten me at all. I go boo, make them shoo, I make fun way they run, I won't cry so they fly, I just smile, they go wild, life doesn't frighten me at all. Tough guys fight all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark. They don't frighten me at all. That new classroom wear, boys all pull my hair. Kissy little girls with hair and curls. They don't frighten me at all. Don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream. If I'm afraid at all, it's only in my dreams. I've got a magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk on the ocean floor and never have to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Not at all, not at all. Life doesn't frighten me at all. So this poem has like a nice rhythm to it, right? What are some unique things you noticed about the poem when I was reading it? Go ahead, Oscar. Yep, so there were like some key points in what it rhymes. What else did you notice? Could you tell me your name? Juana, what did you notice?
Every two lines, she would say, life doesn't frighten me at all.
Absolutely. What else? There's like a rhythm to it. There's also some punctuation marks that tell us when to pause. And like, where there's some commas, there's some periods, so we know when to create that beat in the poem for us. So poets do some of these techniques on purpose. And one of them she uses is the way she creates unique sounds in a poem, which is called automatopoeia. Has anyone heard of this one before? That's okay. We're going to talk about it today because Maya Angelou uses it a few times in this poem. So automatopoeia is a word that it suggests its meaning. So if I said clap, for example, you would imagine what's happening in the poem. Or beep. It is a word that suggests its meaning. So what I want you to do now is to go back to your poem, and I want you to take 1 minute, and I want you to put a square around every line in the text that you think may be an automatopoeia. So where in the text would the word she used suggest its meaning? Where in the text would the word she used suggest its meaning? I see Edwin going back to his text. I will give you a clue. She does it 2 times in the poem. She does it 2 times in the poem. Take about 30 more seconds. John, would you like to share with the class the 2 times you saw in the text where Maya Angelou uses the onomatopoeia? Absolutely. So I go boo. When someone says I go boo, what do you think she's trying to accomplish in that line? To scare someone, right? And then to make them shoo. What do you think that means? Go away, right? So we don't have to know what these words mean in any context, but the words themselves tell us what they mean. So one other thing that you already pointed out that she does